Happy Sunday, everybody. I am on my way to brunch with a bunch of people that I don't know. A lot of you have asked me how you make friends here, and sometimes you just have to go to an event where you don't know anyone. That puts me hugely out of my comfort zone. So, but I'm doing it. So, but it's down in Psyrri, which I haven't been down here in a really long time. So let's take a walk to the place where I'm having brunch at. Now, since I don't know these people, I don't know how much I'll be able to film, but I thought at least I could show you where it is and then maybe give you a little review after. I know it looks overcast, but it's nice and warm. Actually, it's a little humid, so even though it's not that warm outside, like it's not, you don't feel it. Anyway, here it is. It's called Calimeres. I have no idea what any of these people look like, so let's see if I can find them. So I got stracciatella that comes on a croissant, and I know some people wanted me to tell them how much things were, but I've completely didn't even look at the menu at the prices. So I will get a menu and I will put it up on the screen later. But it looks amazing, and everybody else's food looks stunning. So the food was amazing. Not super big portions though, so if you're super hungry, I suggest maybe getting something to share with the people that you're with, but the food was really good. I didn't film anymore because I got talking to people. Happy Thanksgiving from Athens. This is actually the first time in the 3 years that I've lived here that I'm here to celebrate Thanksgiving. I've either been away or we've been in lockdown. So I made some American friends this week, and so we're going out for Thanksgiving dinner tonight. We are also going to a restaurant that I have not been to before. They are serving a set menu for Thanksgiving, so I can't really say whether or not like this is going to be the typical meal that they offer. It's called Po' Boys, which makes me think it's sort of a New Orleans, Louisiana kind of normal place, so we'll see what it's like. So this is the Thanksgiving menu. Everything looks really good. The only thing is it's chocolate pudding for dessert, not like pumpkin pie or something. Actually really good. The only thing I didn't like was this like potato cake they made. Everything else was really good, and I know a lot of you want to know how much everything was, so I'm going to tell you that now. The set menu for the Thanksgiving meal was 30 euros. That did not include any drinks. I did order the mac and cheese separately. That was 8 euros. And the beer, now I don't remember, I think it was 5 or 6, but it was special beer from Chios, so not like an Alpha or a Mythos, so it was a little more expensive. So kind of pricey, but I have a ton of leftovers. Hey guys, welcome back to Psyrri. I have decided to come back down here after eating out here twice this week and seeing how different the neighborhood is now that we're not in lockdown. And even though I come down here all the time, I've never really shown it to you guys properly, so I thought I would do that today. So this neighborhood is near Monastiraki. It is one of the older neighborhoods here in Athens, and while there isn't like a historical site in this area, there's lots of bars and restaurants, and there's tons of street art. So it's worth walking around just to kind of get a feel for some of the more happening neighborhoods in Athens. Coming up ahead is Irun Square, which is the main square in Psyrri. As you can see, lots of restaurants to eat at. There are plenty of also sweet shops and bakeries, you name it, they have it in this square. It's a great area to just sort of walk around in and get lost and see some of the historic architecture. Please ignore the graffiti. You know, it's kind of an unfortunate thing, but it happens. Now, oh, the church is open. I've never been here when the church has been open. It's always been closed. And like none of this was open when I've been down here, and so this looked totally different than when I was here before. The church is super fascinating inside. So it used to be a Byzantine church and was heavily damaged and sort of defended during the War of Independence. And some archaeologists decided that in the early 1900s that it wasn't worth any value archaeologically, so that they could expand it. And that's why it looks like this today instead of being a Byzantine church. But the dome is original, so the dome that is inside is original. However, you can't really see it from the outside anymore. But you can tell that it's really old because the ceiling is black inside from all the candles being lit. So the Byzantine church was built in the 11th century. Just down the street is this Byzantine church that probably looks a whole heck of a lot more like what that church looks to look like. It's much smaller though. I've walked by this before, and what I love is the ironwork, this sort of blue paint that they've put on it. Now this one I've never seen be open. It's always closed. And I don't know the name of this one. And the other one, I don't dare pronounce it because I know I would mess it up. But I bet this one's stunning on the inside. I noticed on the corner they're doing work in one of the old historic buildings, and it looks like they're gonna make it into something. That's nice to see, because like I hate that these are just sort of sitting empty. That's part of the reason that you see all the graffiti, is that they're empty and they've been empty forever, and so people just take advantage of that. Unlike the street art here on the side of this, I think it's an apartment building if I remember correctly. Obviously been commissioned and painted. That's not something that happens overnight. If you want to see my video on street art in this neighborhood and Exarchia, I will put a link to it in the description box below, because there's some pretty cool pieces. Okay, I'm coming into a parking lot now because it looks like some of these old historic buildings used to be surrounded what looks like might have been a square at one time. Oh, cars backing out, so I'm gonna stop and wait for them. Okay, as I was walking through, I realized it's actually a street over there, so I'm gonna walk over there, hopefully, and find it. No, so the street was completely blocked off and by a gate, and the other side of it is this other parking lot. You can see the building sort of there with modern things attached to it. But yeah, the street where you would have turned to walk down it was blocked off in a restaurant. Okay, I gave up. I can't find it, so it's forever going to remain a mystery to me about how you get to that street, because on the parking lot there was a wire fence and it looked like it was a street, but I couldn't find it. Oh, the maze that is Psyrri. So I am now going to go find a place to eat lunch at. And just as I said that, I found it. It's not a street that you can drive through. It is a street that is just a pedestrian-only street. So see, this is where I was, and this is it. So the other parking lot I saw was not behind this. It looks like just the facade is left. It's not that the actual building is still standing. Let's see. Oh, some of it. Some of the interior is still there. Wow, look at that. Look, you can still see the paint from the walls in there. It makes you wonder what it used to be. I mean, it was probably a house, but the age, things like that. And this giant tree, it's probably been here forever. Although, probably after the house, if I'm looking at that correctly. And I'm actually thinking it's several houses, because this is a separate door from this one, and then this one. So it looks like maybe three of them. Anyway, all right, now I'm gonna go find something to eat. Surprisingly, all of these streets are actually some streets that you can drive down. So, you know, it gets a little hairy in here sometimes, but it's still a cool place to hang out. Okay, I found this place called Picky Coffee, and so I'm going to get a coffee, and I want an Americano, but a cold Americano isn't on the menu. I'm sure I can get one, but I don't know how much it is. I don't know what I'm gonna eat yet, so let's take a look and see. Eggs, that's what I really want, is eggs. Here's my beautiful coffee. And so, since it wasn't on the menu, they did bring the receipt. So the Americano is $3.50 and the eggs I ordered are $8.80. I would say that because it's down here in Psyrri, the eggs are a little bit more expensive than they might be maybe over in my neighborhood. Not by much, maybe like 50 cents. So not too bad. Here it is. It reminds me of stracciatella, even though it was called something else on the menu. So, as you can hear, it's super loud because the street, everything is going by, and these bricks make tons of noise, even with regular cars, not just the suitcases. One of the other things that's good to do down here is do some antique shopping. There's lots of little antique stores. There's also lots of little leather shops down here to do shopping at as well. The other thing is there are lots of hotels in this area. I've actually stayed down here one time, but the one thing I noticed that when I was down here, it was very loud. And even though they had news windows and doors, it was just almost impossible to sleep. Oh, look at all the copper. Very cool. Big amphora. An old refrigerator, I think. And the old phones. Oh, and the little tiny stove. So cute. I haven't been by here yet, but I would not be a complete tour of Psyrri if I didn't go down here to Little Cook. Now, I have various opinions about this restaurant, but I have to come and show you because it is the most decorated place in all of the neighborhood. It's usually by season. It looks like they've already done Christmas. Okay, so the first time I came by here, it was decorated for Halloween, and it was just this and the chairs in front, and that was it. Now, as you can see, there's a line to get in, and it goes all the way down the street, and every year I swear they take over more places. So my recommendation, if you come down here and you want to get a snack that doesn't cost a small fortune and you want to get something that's traditionally Greek, you walk a little past Little Cook down here to this little bakery and you get yourself a kolori, which is the round sesame thing that you see sold sort of on the street. It's like a traditional breakfast thing, but this is supposed to be the best place to get them in Athens. And that takes you right back to the square where I started from, just one street over. My plan is to come back tonight to sort of show you what the nightlife aspect of it looks like, because some of the places that are not open during the day are only open at night. So let's come back this evening. Back down in Psyrri at night to give you a feel for what it's like down here. As you can hear, it's super loud down here now. Like, not just people, but like music at every different bar and restaurant is playing different music. So it can be a little bit loud at night. So if you are staying down here because you want to be in the scene, pack some earplugs. And this is that same square that I showed you earlier, but at night. And tonight, instead of going that way, I'm gonna go this way because it's a little bit different this way. And then I'll go back to the area I went earlier. As you can hear, it's a good spot to come and catch some live music at night. During the day you won't find it, but at night you will. So the place we just passed, and then this place that I'm passing by now, they will have live music. And this isn't for Christmas, the lights, these are up all the time. It is way more crowded down here at night than it is during the day. You know, the other night when we left from this place down here for Thanksgiving, it wasn't so crowded, but it was a Thursday night, and now it's a Saturday, so it's definitely going to be more crowded on a Saturday night. What I think is interesting is it's pretty early by Greek standards, but I am hearing Greek people out. It's not just tourists, although there are a lot of tourists, because I hear non-Greek being spoken. And this is the street down here where I had breakfast earlier. That little place right there is where I had breakfast. And then down here is where I had Thanksgiving the other night. I do not recommend driving down here at night because, as you can see, it's very busy and there isn't a lot of places to park unless you pay for parking. And actually, once you get down the small streets, you're not going to want to drive down them anyway. So take the metro, take the bus. You can get to Psyrri from the Monastiraki metro station. I'll show you what Little Coop looks like at night, all lit up, so that way you can see it. Well, I was going to show you what it looks like all lit up, but it's not yet. Now, I noticed when I was here earlier today, they were still stringing lights, so maybe they just did the changeover. I have never been here when it's been empty, when they're doing a theme change. I need to figure out when they do that. So obviously this isn't everything that you can do in this neighborhood in Athens, but it's definitely worth spending an hour or two in the day or the night exploring, just to see kind of what some of the Athens nightlife is like. And it is definitely a place that both Greeks hang out and tourists and then expats, so it's definitely nice to come down here and see what it's like. If you have any questions, definitely leave me a comment below. And if you really like seeing Athens or Greece or travels around the world, I'll hope you'll hit that subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.